Hello everyone, I am Kavya from 3rd Sem MBA. Today's topic is evolution of labor legislation in India. Let's see the introduction of labor legislation in India. Labor legislation in India has evolved through various phases reflecting the socio-economic changes in the country. The journey began during the British colonial period, the groundwork for modern labor laws. Today's labor legislation aims to protect workers' rights, fostering economic growth and development. Let us know about the history of labor legislation in India. The history of labor legislation in India is interwoven with the history of British colonialism. The labor legislations enacted by the British were primarily intended to protect the interest of the British employers. Consolidations of British political economy were naturally paramount in shaping some of these carry laws. Thus, the Factories Act came into existence. Early legislation of pre-independence era. In first significant labor law was Factories Act of 1881, which aimed to regulate working conditions in factories. Trade Union Act in 1926 recognized the right to form unions, marking a critical step in workers' rights. Various laws were enacted to address issues such as minimum wages, working hours, and safety understands during this period. Post independence development. After gaining independence in 1947, India adopted a new constitution including fundamental rights related to labor. The Industrial Dispute Act of 1947 established procedures for the industrial conflicts. Labor policies were framed to promote social justice, equitable the welfare of workers across sectors. In 1950s to 1970, it is called as consolidation of laws. This period was the enactment of several key laws, including Minimum Wages Act of 1948 and the Employees Provident Funds Act of 1952. The government focused on consolidating various laws to simplify legal framework governing labors. Emergence of new challenges in 1980s to 1990. The liberalization policies introduced in 1990s brought new challenges. Issues such as informal employment and the need for flexibility in hiring were increasingly recognized. In 21st century, globalization and labor reforms. Turn of the century saw increasing globalization pushing India to adopt its labor laws to attract foreign investment. The introduction of the National Policy on Skill Development in 2009 aimed to enhance employability among the youths. Recent legislative changes are labor codes enacted in 2020 consolidated 29 existing labor laws into 4 comprehensive codes. These codes cover various aspects such as wages, industrial relations, security, and occupational safety. Current challenges and opportunities in labor legislation. Despite progress, challenges remain, including ensuring compliance with new regulations and protecting informal sector workers. Gig economy is emerging as a significant sector. Let us see about the needs of labor legislation. In developing country like India, labor legislation are needed because of the following reasons. First one is weak labor organization. Labor organizations are relatively weak and in most of the cases they depend merely on mercy of the employers. Now the prior payment of wages, layoff, etc. is all governed by legislation. Second one is occupational insecurity. As per the Occupational Act, Employees State Insurance Act, certain benefits are mandatory to be given to the workers by the employers. But in reality, workers may not give an amount of compensation in case of accident, death, etc. Hazardous working conditions. Workers' health and safety is always in danger due to harmful working conditions in some factories. Fourth one is law and order. Labor legislation is also necessary from the viewpoint of law and order situation and national security of the country. State plays a vital role in the continuing production. Achieving socio-economic progress. Labor legislation is one of the most progressive and dynamic instruments for achieving socio-economic progress. Let us know about the types of labor legislation. First one is protective labor legislation. Under protective labor legislation, this category are those legislations whose primary purpose is to protect minimum labor standards and improve working conditions. Lays down the minimum labor standards in the areas of hours of works, safety, employment shops. Legislation laying and manner of wage payment has come under the category of labor legislation. Second one is regulative legislations. Under this category falls laws whose main objective is to regulate the relations between employers and employees and the provide for methods and manner of setting industrial disputes. First is Trade Union Act in 1926. Second, Industrial Disputes Act in 1947. Third one is Social Security legislation. Third, social security legislation covers those labor laws which intend to provide workmen social security benefits during certain contingencies of life. Social legislation includes 10 Employees Compensation Act 1923, Employees Stare Insurance Act 1948, Employees Provident Fund and Millennials Provisions Act 1952, Maternity Benefits Act 1961, etc. Fourth one is welfare legislation. Legislation falling under this category aims at promoting the general welfare of the workers and improve their living conditions. All labor laws can be used to promoting the welfare of the workers and improving their living conditions. The concept of labor welfare fund was therefore evolved in order to extend the measure of social assistance to workers in the unorganized sector. Towards this end, following separate legislations have been enacted by Parliament. There are Mika Mines Labor Welfare Fund Act 1946, etc. These are some of the types of labor legislation. Conclusion. The evolution of labor legislation in India reflects the dynamic interplay between economic needs and social justice. Continuous reforms are essential to address emerging challenges in the rapidly changing labor market. Thank you for watching.